Sue me, but in my humblest opinion, too many of you guys and girls have no car, no house, no apartment, no job, no stable income, no diploma, no degree, no ring, not married, are in debt, and then be like, baby on the way. I know so many people are going to find that offensive. I'm so sorry, but like, I'm genuinely asking a question. If you are not financially stable, why are you having a baby?
I cannot tell you how many people are just having babies based on a whim. People be having babies to heal emotional trauma because they bored, they ain't got nothing else to do. And some of them just have babies because they think they're going to keep that dude around, and it never does. But on a serious note, I don't think people do actually do research or plan for their children anymore. And then a lot of people are not getting married before they have kids, and they get in such an upset when you ask them about that or when you check them about that. Marriage is just a piece of paper, just a snap. So is money. So is your car note. So is a lease. Your birth certificate, social security card, all of our important documents are just a piece of paper. But those pieces of paper can affect your life. A contract, yes, piece of paper, but people have fucked their lives up over a bad contract. So don't think that just a piece of paper cannot affect your life in the long run. Y'all are too satisfied with the bare minimum. And how was a marriage, like the other girl said, how was a marriage too much? And a baby ain't. The baby is more of a commitment. Because I could always divorce your behind. It may take a little bit. It may cost me something, but I can eventually break away from your behind. But a baby, and people also have to understand that some men will literally get women pregnant because they always want to have access. They want to always come back. And me personally, I do not want to have kids if I have to raise it by myself. I don't. I need to be married. I need to have a great relationship with my husband. That's the only way I would feel comfortable having kids. I refuse to be a single mother. And I refuse to be a single mother, even in marriage. Because even when you're married, you can still be a single mom. But I feel like being married is the first step. I'm not finna start off wrong. I'm just being honest. Because any person who's getting married, who's not married, doesn't have any money, is it financially responsible? Is it emotionally, developed? Emotionally mature, does not need to be having. Anytime you see those kind of people having kids, it's because they're trying to fill a void in themselves and think that baby is going to fill that void. Or they think that it's not as hard as it really is because they don't actually know what it is like. It's not just like taking care of a dog, it was cool taking care of the baby or babysitting because I only had to be with the baby for a certain amount of time and then I went home while the parents have to deal with everything else. No.
Yeah, I think one of the craziest things that I hear is when people be like, "Oh no, I could definitely, have a kid right now. Like I love kids because I babysit my niece and nephews." Listen, I have a newborn right now. He's gonna be 2 months and probably about a week from now, and it is not like babysitting. Okay, this is my second child. I am married, by the way. Ring on my hand. It's not a walk in the park by any means necessary, but I do want to say something. Although some of the things she's saying is true, I do want to preface by saying this. I understand that everybody's not okay with abortion and that pregnancies usually just happen. But I do think people that, let's just say, abortion is on the table. They're comfortable with having an abortion. And on the other side is either abort the child, before the child is fully formed, or, keep the child. I would say you need to be considering all factors because once you have a kid, things don't get easier. And again, this is for the mom that is comfortable with abortion. And they understand that they have an option, Not for the moms that's not comfortable with it, because I would never tell a mom that's not comfortable with it what to do with her body. That's not my place at all. Know what I mean? But you need to consider all factors. A man is not going to stay with you because you have a kid with him. Now, I mean, if anything, if you have a child with a man that he's like he doesn't really want to have this, he's not in a place to do this, he'll probably resent you more. You know what I mean? So if you think you're going to keep a man, he's not going to try to keep you, or he's not going to try to stay with you. He should definitely be there for the kid by all means, but that's not going to help you keep a man. Filling a void, an emotional void that maybe you missed when you was a child, having a child just to fill that void, now you're going to put that that pain that you had when you was a child, or the void that you're trying to fill onto the child. Now the child's gonna grow up with these weird emotional, issues or whatever as they get older, because mom didn't heal before she had me. Instead, she had me to heal. So that's playing the game backwards. But let's get back into this video.
No, you got to deal with the crying, the feeding. You have to teach the baby how to be a human being. And it's hard to teach a baby how to be a human being when you haven't even figured out being a human being for yourself. And
Facts.
everybody wants a baby, but not everybody wants to raise a child. They forget that once that baby passes its cute stage, they become a human being with their own ideas, with their own wants, their own dislikes, and they're not going to be this person that you imagine them to be. So they end up disappointed. But if you go into having a child with the mindset that eventually they're going to break away and want to be their own person and want to live their own life, and if you're not willing to accept them for that, then you don't need to be having kids, especially if you ain't got no doggone money. And in the black community, so many parents, I can't tell you how many times, parents be like, oh, well, I brought you in this world. Baby, you act like I'm supposed to be thankful for that because I did not ask to be here. And they swear you're supposed to be thankful for it. Like, baby, you didn't marry no rich man and bring me into a life of abundance. You brought me into poverty. I'm not thanking you for that. You're not getting props for that. And y'all are only opening the door for your child to resent you because you had no business having a baby. If you're not able to establish a college fund, how do you expect your child to have a quality of life when you don't even have a quality of life for yourself? And then they love talking about that village, baby. Baby, the village don't owe you nothing. People forget the village is gone because the economy is shot. People forget, grandma can't babysit like she used to. Older people now can't even retire. Older people have to go to work. I be seeing them all the time at my job. Like, there be people who be 60, 70. They be working because they cannot afford to not work. They can't afford to retire. They can't afford to do so. So how the heck can they not afford to take care of themselves? But you saying, oh, well, they should be able to go to their grandma's house. Grandma gotta feed herself too. So in this economy, you got to be smart. And a lot of people are forced to live in these toxic relationships because they can't.
Hold on, before she go into that subject, that is a fact. A lot of people have kids out of knowing that, oh yeah, I have such and such that's gonna help me, or I have support and I have babysitters, and they're planning already for the help. Instead of, I'm somebody of belief of, it's best to, the only thing that is for certain is you. The only thing that you can really speak towards is yourself. So I'm for the notion of, don't plan for what other people are supposed to be doing. Don't put expectations on what other people are supposed to do. I did that with my first child, and I did not have a lot of help when it came to my side of the family. If my daughter was with me, my daughter was with me. And maybe I could, get something out of my siblings or whatever, but it wasn't a lot of help. Even though I believe because I have, this person or that person, yeah, they'll all help me. And that's the problem. This is my responsibility. So should they be, helping me? It's debatable. But whose responsibility is it really? It's mine. So if I have to have my child the full 24 hours that, she's with me, the full 48, 72, however long in that week she's with me, that, yes, I am supposed to have my child. So having a child planning for babysitters is just, you're walking yourself into something. If you're going to have a child, plan for if nobody helps you financially, nobody gives you any babysitters. You need to plan for these things. Too many people are planning for help. You can't plan on other people's time. And a lot of people will be so excited. Oh, I'm so happy. I can't wait for the baby to get here. If you need a babysitter, I'm here. I'll do whatever you need me to do. And let me know if you need anything. And as soon as you need something, they not there. Oh, yeah, it's hard times. Oh, yeah, we're busy this weekend. Oh, yeah, I didn't see the call, or yeah, I'm sick. It's so many things that start to come up once you actually have the kid. You realize, okay, all these people were just talking. So again, don't plan for help. Plan to take care of your own situation. Take care of your own kids. So again, if you're planning on having a kid, I want you to think about that. Don't plan, oh, my mom's going to help me. Oh, my grandmother's going to help me. Oh, no, think about it as if you had to do this by yourself. Know what I mean? Think about because even if, like, what if this man wound up being a deadbeat? And I hate putting this all on the woman. No, it is a lot of pressure on the woman, but it is things that I think people should be real about and consider, because it'll keep people out of these bad situations. Now, I mean, once the child is here and you and your child now have to struggle, and that now the child has to come out the mud, or the child has to grow up in poverty, which, has certain things in their environment. Like, one decision is all it takes. One decision is all it takes to gear a whole generation into another direction. Now, I mean, whether that decision is, you know what, I'm not going to have a child right now. I'm going to wait until I'm financially stable so I can sustain this child. They could go to a better school. Or, you know what, I'm going to have this child right now. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. And we're going to live in poverty. And then, your surroundings may influence you to do things that may lead you down a path that's not good. Like, it all comes from a decision. Now, again, this is all for the mom that's okay with, all right, maybe I'm going to just take the pill. The other moms that's not comfortable with that, I am not talking to you, because that is not my place. All right.
Can't afford to live on their own. I'm blessed that I don't have to deal with that. But that's the reality for a lot of people. And on top of that, who would want to raise a child in this society? I can't tell you how many iPad kids there are, because too many of them have kids. And then they realize that they getting hard, and instead of actually raising their kids, taking time to raise their kids, they let the electronics raise them. It's just a lot. I could go on all day about why people have kids, what they do, what they're expected. All in all, the people who there's a lot of, because you can have kids, you have the ability to have kids, does not mean you deserve to be a parent. Kids deserve good parents. And when you have a baby, you have an obligation to ensure that they have a good life, that you instill good values into them, that you teach them how to be a proper human being so that they can survive in this world. That child doesn't owe you a thing, but you owe that child everything. But you can't owe them everything if you ain't got nothing. Apologies for the long-winded rant. I had a lot to speak on. It is what it is. But thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Listen, I feel like what she said is going to make a lot of people mad. And I'm pretty sure if we read the comments, it probably did make a lot of people mad. We're going to read the comments. But the thing about it is, she spoke a lot of facts. Like, a lot of people that have children understand what she was saying. Like, kids are not cheap. Kids are very time consuming, especially for a single mom. So if you are, on the fence of, should I do this? Should I not do this? Consider those things she was saying. Like, are you in the position to really have a child? Are you in that position? Or is it going to be a struggle to the top? Is it going to be a get it out the mud, rags to riches type of story? And is that really what you want? Because, yeah, for every rags to riches story, there's like 100 people behind that rags to riches story that did not have rags to riches. They stayed in rags. And along with the mom, and the mom was always trying to, figure it out, always trying to get it, always trying to keep her head above water. Know what I mean? Because she had to keep up with the kids too. So consider that. Do you want to set yourself up first so you don't have to go through, trying to build yourself and build a life for a child? Or do you want to build the life for yourself and then be able to help a child, because now you understand what it is to go through life? Know what I mean? So those are things to think about. But again, to the moms that's not comfortable with, taking a pill, whatever, by all means, I respect that too. I respect any decision you make. I just feel like these things should be considered, because too many people, the way they see having a kid is a little bit out of pocket. Like, I'm going to have babysitters. Or I like babysitting my niece and nephews. I love kids. Okay, there's a time where kids are annoying. Okay, I'll be honest. I have 2 of them. Now, I mean, one is about to be 2 months, like I said, and my other child, she just turned 9. Both of them get on my nerves sometimes. That's just facts. I love them both equally. Both of them get on my nerves sometimes. But part of me being a parent is understanding those moments, understanding that, yeah, I need to be doing X, Y, and Z, but my kids may need me right now for X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Like, what they're doing doesn't make any sense, but that's part of me being a parent. So it's like you got to have skills of patience. Now, I mean, you have to have self-awareness. A lot of parents do not have self-awareness, which is why their kids grow up with so much turmoil and childhood trauma, because their parents weren't aware of how they were coming off. They were just doing what they thought was to be a dictator, but they didn't pay attention to, okay, how am I affecting this child? How am I coming off? Am I bringing my work into my relationship with my child? You know, things of that nature. That's why so many people have these issues, because they don't work on themselves before they have a child. They're not even on their journey to work on themselves or understand themselves or close to understanding themselves to raise a child, to teach a child about themselves. You can't teach somebody about themselves if you don't know you. But anyways, so, all right, right here. Not everyone has the strength to go through an abortion after getting pregnant. Not me, but I see a lot of this in reality. Oh, I want to see the comments. This is a thing called pregnancy prevention. That's a fact. Oh, I actually know her. Birth control, condoms, Plan B, adoption. Yeah. Birth control, honestly. Like, if you feel like you're not there, birth control, you know. Yeah, condoms is not 100%. Birth control is not a Plan B is a thing. Know what I mean? Or just wait till you're married. Like, I mean, there's so many different things you can possibly do. You know, I keep a strict no child till the aisle policy for my life, because no way you're giving me a baby before a ring. Yeah, I understand that. I feel like more people got babies than marriages. That's a fact. On my timeline, I see so many Burberry outfits. If you know, you know. Before I see, you know, a tie. You know, people don't realize how big a deal having a baby is. It is a big deal. It's a whole person. I look at my son, I look at my daughter, and you know what I see? I see my legacy. I see my legacy. Like, what's to come, generations to come from my last name is in their hands. So how I set them up, how far I put them in the race, is how good my grandkids is going to be. That sounds crazy to say, but it's a fact, you know? So I don't want to, because of my selfish needs, I set my kids before the start line. Meanwhile, there's other people at the start line, you know? But anyways, and if you are going to have a kid, you know, and for the parents that, you know, you're not okay with abortion, things of that nature, I completely understand. And I've been saying that this whole video because it's not my place to speak on what a woman should do with her body. But I will say this. You have to have a different type of grind, a different type of grit, because yes, although you didn't have it before the kid and it's tough while you have the kid, you owe it to the kid to give them the life still. So it's going to be harder than when you was just trying to figure out life by yourself. You still owe it to your child to figure out life. You have to do it faster. You're kind of on a time restraint. Because one day that kid is going to grow up and ask you questions. I mean, if you give them the wrong answers, they're going to go into life with the wrong answers. And that goes for everything. I'm going to end this video out by saying this. There was a time when, and I tell this story all the time, and people look at me crazy when I say it, but whatever. I remember when my daughter was like 2 years old, she came up to me and she had like trash in her hand. And I remember pointing to the trash can and saying, "Go put the trash in the trash can." She was 2 years old. She ain't really know what daddy was talking about, but I was pointing at the trash, right? So she looked at me and she walked over to the trash can and she stood by the trash can and like kind of pointed to the trash, like in here. She couldn't really fully say it, but she knew this is where daddy wanted the trash to go, right? Because daddy was pointing over here. What that taught me was, what I know is what she believes and what she'll follow out in her life. So I need to make sure I'm sharp. I need to make sure I understand life, because one day my kids are going to trust me to have the answers to their questions. Same way I go to my parents. Now, I mean, that's just how it works, So, yes, you still owe it to your kids. If you still decide to have kids, and whenever you do decide to have kids, even when you're married, you still need to have the answers. I mean, you owe that to your kid. You could feel bad for yourself, let the music play, whatever. But at the end of the day, what kind of life do you want for your children? You could try hard, you could do whatever but the point is, you got to push your kids further than you were. And a lot of times getting further than you were is pushing yourself further while having the kid. You know what I mean? If you decide to have the kid. But yeah, hey man, it's been your boy Ty Boogie. Until next time, I hope y'all hit that subscribe button. Y'all enjoyed this video. I'm out of here, man.